Welcome to Lecture 16, Classroom Management. You are over halfway through your journey to becoming the kind of substitute teacher that schools desire. In this lecture, we are going to discuss classroom management, a concept that even long-time teaching veterans continue to study throughout their entire career. Classroom management means just that, how you manage a classroom, how you get kids to sit down and do their work, how you get them back on task after an interruption, how you get them to line up in a neat and orderly fashion for lunch or recess, how you get them to walk down the hallway without being loud. Nearly everything that happens in a classroom during the day is something that the teacher has to be aware of and has to be ready to control. That is the essence of classroom management. So how can you, as a substitute, master a skill that even full-time teachers have yet to master? You can't, so don't worry about that. What you can do, however, is to start learning now and to keep learning as you go. Like any new concept that you learn, there are a few foundational skills you can improve that will bring mastery of the core concept a lot closer. If you study classroom management literature, one of the words that you will encounter most often is relationships. Teachers improve their ability to manage their students by building positive, caring relationships with each and every one of them. No, you cannot build a relationship to the same level and depth that the classroom teacher can accomplish. Yes, you can build a relationship in that short amount of time that is sufficient for getting through the day. You start off by greeting the kids as soon as they come in the door. You don't know their names, but that doesn't mean you can't make eye contact, smile, and say hello. For some students, the teachers in their lives are the only stable adults. Many students bounce from house to house through the week due to their family's work situation. They may sleep at home one day in a grandma's house or another relative's house the next day. On days when they are home, one or both parents may be at work. The students may only see their family in the very early hours of the morning or in the very late hours of the night. Most of the time, the teacher is the adult that the students see most in their lives, so it is critical that they be a friendly, caring, and compassionate figure in their life. The next step is to show them the same respect you want them to show you. Every one of the students that come through the door has the right to a fair education in a safe, caring classroom. They also have the right to be listened to. The trials and tribulations of a kindergartner's life are just as real and meaningful as those of an 8th grader's or an adult's. Don't dismiss students who come to you with problems. Those problems are important to them. They may seem small and petty to you, but that's because you have many more years of life behind you. Respect also means leaving behind all of the preconceived notions about children, races, and cultures that you may have. There are poor black kids from the worst neighborhoods in the world who are as smart as a whip. There are kids from wealthy neighborhoods who have had every advantage in life who can barely read in 3rd grade. Every child is unique. Do not judge a child by their clothes, their hair, how they talk, or what part of the city they live in. Now we're going to take a short crash course in the 4 ideas that you must master as soon as possible in order to maintain an orderly classroom. Each of them is fairly simple, so don't get scared. The first idea is managing by proximity. Kids are more likely to misbehave the further away you are from them. Of course, you can't be near them all the time, so you have to circulate around the room. Seasoned teachers don't stay in one spot. They are constantly moving around the room so that there is no long stretch of time where a potential troublemaker knows that they are safe. The teacher is either standing right behind them or will be again in a few minutes. Keep moving and try not to move in a predictable pattern. This not only helps to keep the trouble at bay, but it also puts you nearby when students need help with whatever they are working on at the moment. The next thing you want to practice with is the look. This one doesn't work for everybody, and it doesn't work on every student. The look is what you give to students who are talking out of turn or acting out in some minor fashion where they are obviously trying to get attention. So you give it to them. Your face becomes an emotionless mask as you stare straight at the student. Don't smile, don't frown, just look at them directly into their eyes. If they recognize you as any sort of authority, they will usually look away in less than 30 seconds and start behaving again, at least for now. If things are going on too long, just continue on with the lesson as if nothing had happened. Do not acknowledge them verbally or attempt to argue with them. The regular teacher probably does this a few times a day, and it works for them because they have an established presence in the classroom. Some students are immune to this strategy, so if it doesn't work, just try something else. The third skill to remember is to avoid power struggles that will arise between you and some students. Some students will view you as an outsider and will attempt to wrest control of the class away from you. You might think that this is something that is limited to older students, and you would be wrong. A first grader can drag you down into a battle of wills for control of the class just as easily as a high school student. On top of that, kids know how to push your buttons. If they decide to view you as an enemy, they will do or say outrageous things to try and get you to lose control. Don't let that happen. I know it's hard, but getting mad and getting into an argument or an insult exchange with a student is not going to help your cause. You must show that you have the power by not letting what they are saying or doing make you lose your cool. Talk to them calmly and coolly like an adult should. If they continue to be disruptive, then you can tell them to leave the room or go to an isolated corner of the room until they are ready to behave. If they refuse these commands, simply walk over to the phone and call the office and tell them that you have a student that has become unmanageable. The principal, counselor, or resource officer will soon be in your room to deal with the student. If this is how you handle the situation, then you have won. Most situations will never escalate to the point of having to call the office, but you have to be careful of this situation as well. A student may get you up to the point where you are ready to call the office, and then they will back off just before you do. They will attempt to do this as many times as possible. You will only let them do it once. If it gets to the point where an office call becomes necessary, do it. No matter how much the student cries, threatens, or acts out, you must gain control of the room, and getting that student out is the only way to do it for sure. The final concept that you must master is consistency. If you tell Bob to settle down and be quiet when he is talking, then you better do the same thing when Susie is talking. Orderly classrooms are ones where the students know the rules and they know what happens when those rules are broken. If the consequences of any action seem to be determined by random choice, then the students will not know how to act. Inconsistent enforcement of classroom rules or procedures creates anxiety in all of the students. The ones that have behavior issues to begin with will then be more likely to act out because of this added stress. The kids who are normally well behaved will feel the stress too. They will be unsure of how you will react to anything they do, so they will do nothing at all. They will not participate in class, and they will not offer to help you when you are unfamiliar with a classroom procedure. Children crave routines and security. Effective classroom management helps make the class better for everyone, not just the teacher. When students feel safe, they are relatively more calm and will act out much less. This was a long section, but it is one of the most important. Feel free to shoot me any questions you may have. You may want to come back and revisit this portion of the course from time to time throughout your career. In the next couple of sections, we will discuss a few sticky areas that apply only to people of specific genders, starting with the men. See you there.